YouTube, what's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and welcome back to Total War Shogun 2, where we are going to be continuing the OTOMO campaign. And based on my first episode, it seemed like a lot of you would really enjoy it, and I appreciate that. There's a lot of comments, a lot of feedback, a lot of nostalgia. It is the same for me. I'm feeling all that nostalgia and really enjoying the game myself. Hopefully that comes across in the footage, if I'm doing my duty right here and making the content that hopefully you can tell that I love, because I do. So yeah, here we are, and we're going to be continuing the Shogun 2 content right where we left off. For those of you, if you haven't watched the first episode, go back, check it out. It's going to give you the basis for the campaign and how we got here and what our objective is. Now, I wanted to start this one out by kind of saying that in the last episode, somebody was like, Air, you were just fighting filthy rebels. Not very interesting. We want to see some big battles. Well, this is Shogun 2. It's a lot harder to get big battles than it is on Warhammer 2, just because of the way that the AI acts and goes. But we will get some, and what we're going to do is I'm not going to use my missionaries anymore against the Oda. That way, I mean, and if you look at it with the Oda, right now they're kind of indifferent towards me. I'm a large power. They're a larger power. It's quite likely that we're going to end up at war anyway. So, I mean, that's a very real possibility. I do have a fleet sailing to fight the Takeda, and this should be entertaining. But yeah, I mean, it's very possible we're going to end up at war with the Oda soon, so I'm going to quit chipping away at the Oda with my missionaries so that I can properly have a huge fight with some powerful factions. And remember that this game also has Realm Divide. I don't remember exactly how it works because I haven't played it in a long time, but in Realm Divide, what you're going to have is basically everybody turning against me. So we will get some fights, right? There will be fights, and it will be fun. At least I sure hope so. So in any case, let's get some things started and pick up right where we left off. Okay, when we last left, we were being threatened by a Takeda landing force, which I'm slightly out of range for stopping, and honestly, I don't really want to stop it. I want to fight them. And as you know, we started recruiting some more Portuguese Tercos. And we have an army waiting in ambush, essentially. We're going to wait and see what this fleet does, and then try and engage them. Now, I expect, even though I can't see what's going on here, based at the number of turns into the game I expect that the Takeda army will be pretty substantial. Like, I don't expect they're going to show up here with a stack of Yari Trashigaru. This is going to be a real samurai army and potentially some really potent Takeda cavalry, as we know that that's what they field. So I am expecting a big fight from them, and I don't mean to underestimate them. That's why I'm hiding in ambush. Yeah, I know, hiding an ambush in the Sengoku Jidai is kind of a
shameful display!
Yeah, that's right, it's a shameful display, but in any case, that's what we're doing, right? I'm already using matchlocks, I'm already the dishonorable Daimyo here, so color me uncaring about what other clans think at the moment. Anyway, let's end this turn. Oh, whoops. Guess I could have just fought those Takeda instead of sailing around them. My bad. Yeah, the Oda, I mean, like I said, they're indifferent with me, they're trading with me. We have kind of a weak alliance, I would say, at the moment, and I expect that they could turn on me at essentially any time. Got some mounting unrest. Good, I recruited some matchlocks here. I was thinking I did. Yeah, so if the Takeda attack me here, they're going to pay a dreadful price trying to capture this citadel with this many matchlocks aimed back at them. It is going to be a most unpleasant experience for them. And then I am busy recruiting up here to my army that is in hiding. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and embed these 3 Turcos that came off the line. The production line. Our boozing Portuguese production line there. So yes, we have a landing. Like I said, this is going to be a rather gruesome fight here if we end up in said fight, which I think we will. The Takeda very well could attack my castle there. I may end up, like if they siege it, I may end up coming down and attacking them and confronting them with both forces, which should be even more fun because it's going to be extremely matchlock heavy. Should be pretty entertaining. I am still continuing our agent spam. I'm going to do a little bit of scouting ahead here with my ninja. I'm not going to actually be performing any disruption on the Oda. I just want to get a lay of the land ahead of me, see what kind of forces the Oda have out in front of me, just in case they decide to throw down the gauntlet. I've played Total War games for a long time. I don't like know what's going to happen, obviously, but I can kind of just like feel the tension in the air with the Oda here. And if I had to make a prediction, I think they're going to declare war on me at some point, and probably sooner rather than later. I'm going to keep leveling up. I'm just farming XP off my ninjas back here, and occasionally one dies, and that's why you see this one at a lower level. So let's see, Madman, escape when unsuccessful. Yeah, I like the escape, like keeps them alive. I am working on their ability to assassinate because if needed, it's fun to just like knock out enemy commanders from being viable. Let's keep sailing towards the Takeda here for now. And we're getting, like I said, we're getting this army trained up here. Our fleet, I was going to scout out this trade post over here and see if it is occupied. It is occupied by the Date. And I'm not really interested in starting a war with the Date. In fact, if we can get any additional trade agreements, we should try.
Speak honestly.
Yeah, Hanakayama are open to it. So that's good. Let's take that trade agreement. The Hanma are open to it. And let's see if the Date would be willing. They are open as well. Excellent. Good. This will keep all of our goods trading. And should the Oda declare war on me, we have that opportunity. Now, see, the Date are allied with the Takeda, but they're still not at war with me. The Oda are allied with the Takeda. So we can kind of see the alliances here. Let's look at the Miyoshi and see if everybody is willing. Ah, look at this. Look at this. Here we go. Now we're talking. I'd opened up a bunch of trade agreements. Gives me a bunch of extra cash. Yeah, no reason to fight the Date at the moment. That'll all come in due time when we hit the Realm Divide. So no need to start that war early. Let's get my... We're probably going to get blockaded on the next turn. But I am going to guard my trade ships. Because if losing a trade fleet would hurt pretty badly. Would hurt pretty badly. I'm just trying to settle down Aki and Bingo. Bingo has my higher level missionary in it, so I'm going to go ahead and move my army back over here to keep Aki calm, where I can keep the taxes open. We are taxing every province we own at the moment, which I think is perfectly fine. But you can see that we have some, like Bingo is still unhappy. And obviously quick ways you can fix this, especially when you're making as much cash as I am, is just, recruit a couple of units and then bring some agents in. Missionaries can help calm the populace quite a bit. Speaking of agents, let's use our little screen here. These should be embedded missionaries that still have their movement points and Metsukes. Otherwise, I'm trying to make sure all my ninjas have used their movement points so that we're not wasting their capability on any given turn. We have quite a lot of cash and can make upgrades as necessary. So let's take a look at any upgrades we might want to make. I mean, it may not be a bad idea, seeing as that we're sitting on a decent bit of rice, to upgrade some of our facilities around here. In fact, a red seal ship? Really cool. I forget what the red seal ship is even like, to be honest. And I want to say you have to have a certain dock or something. Is it this thing up here? Yeah, Red Seal Company. You got to have this in order to have both. Let's recruit it. Just be kind of fun. Let's have some fun with it. Let's build a dry dock up there. And I think I'm going to reinforce Satsuma. It's an important military recruiting. Plus, this will give me access to building more facilities, though we're able to do it. Let's go ahead and upgrade. And then Bungo is about as upgraded as it can get at the moment because we haven't finished researching epic architecture. In fact, it's doing Way of the Sword at the moment, which is fine because I haven't done hardly any research in that direction. I think after that we'll do tea ceremony, gain some extra diplomatic relation and daimyo honor. Diplomatic relation, not so much. I really just want the daimyo honor out of it. Anyway, let's end a turn and see what happens for us. I don't know about you all, but I am so excited to be playing this campaign. Ah, look at this! Look at this! I knew it. I knew these guys. Like, I could feel the treachery in the air. Like, the way that they were acting and fleets everywhere. I was like, I know I'm going to end up fighting these guys anyway because they control, I think they control Kyoto. So, this is so funny. All right, we're at war with the Oda. And I think that means I'm probably going to bring that fleet I had and reposition its army in a better position to hurt the Oda rather than going after the Takeda. The Takeda are not a real threat to me at the moment. Yes, they landed a big army. They have some menial fleets and stuff like that. The Oda are the threat. And they have some pretty substantial... Oh, look at this! This is even better!
Brave men
even better!
Died.
The Oda are like... Or the Takeda are like, hey, look.
To the fighting.
The Oda are our friends. They want to fight you. We've learned our lesson. We're not really interested. But this request is herefore rejected because I intend to kill your army that you have on Kyushu, at which point I am then happy to negotiate said peace treaty. But you are not getting away that easy. You don't step foot in my homelands and not get killed in the process. So we took a huge hit to income there on this turn-in for a few reasons. One, we lost trade with the Oda, which I'm sure was quite lucrative. And two, they blockaded multiple ports. So let's start by opening our ports, getting our income back. That Takeda fleet is, of course, going to run, which will give me access to smack down this Oda fleet here and get some good naval action against trade ships, apparently. So never mind, we're just going to auto-resolve this. The fact that there was any damage done to any of my ships is an utter disgrace and just BS on its face. Someone got onto me, they're like, Eric, scuttle the ships. Scupper is like where the water drains out the bottom. I understand what a scupper is. I have a kayak. Look, scupper ships that are no longer... Yeah, see, scupper. It's not just me. It says it on the game. Okay, so if you don't like it, take it up with CA. I'm not making stuff up. I'm not making it up. I could fight this Takeda fleet, but there's really no purpose. I'm going to go ahead and repair and then get ready to go knock off the other Oda fleet that's costing me income. And these guys are costing me income as well. So they basically blockaded every functioning trade port that I had. And this is going to be typical for the AI in this game. That's what they do. They're very bad at causing any realistic damage to you. But the AI is apparently well aware of the fact that the player actually gets crippled from a lack of funds, whereas the AI just gets free funds constantly and is in no such danger of being overcome. I think we were training. Were we training another... If we weren't training another... Oh, no, this other fleet is where I had two. Yeah, see, we got multiple bogeys over here. Let's just push this Oda fleet out of the way. Just a beat-up medium Bune. Didn't cause any damage, which is great. I captured. I'm actually just going to hang on to it for now. And let's start sailing back to use this fleet to help defend our ports, and then I'll drop the army off, and the army can go wherever they're needed. Now, the cool thing about this is that it does leave us in a good position on the front here to come and threaten Oda territory and hopefully get in some fights. Aki is still going to be very upset, so we're going to have to just build a gambling hall, try and drop some troops here. We actually can hire another Metsuke, which is pretty good. And we'll go place that Metsuke in the most profitable province possible. We have our army here, and we can attack the Takeda in such a way as that we'll receive reinforcements, because the Takeda army wanted peace, but then got squishy and wasn't sure what they really wanted, and now they're stuck here. And finally, we're going to get some good, large land battle against a significant enemy force, which, to be quite frank, is much better than we are in melee. I mean, 5 Takeda Yari cavalry, and what is this? It's going to be 8 Katana Samurai, a couple of Yari Sam, and some Bow Sam. This is a pretty substantial force, but I have guns, so let's see how that works out for the Takeda.
Monodomo, ご苦労じゃ。お家の心情に従い、愚かな真似はせず、あのバカどもの地獄行きを手助けしてやれば、今日はきっと良い日になる。お主らが大切にしてきたものすべてが危機にさらされておる。家族、名誉、土地、何もかもだ。だからこの戦では全力で戦わねばならん。一体全体どうして武田がここにおるのじゃ。 あの山猿どもは恥を知らぬのか。我らが相手として己の愚かさを思い知ることになるぞ。陣容を見渡せば人の良さそうな誠実な農民の顔がたくさん見える。侍ではないお主らだが、死なば武士として葬ってやろうぞ。機が熟したら行動に移るのじゃ。それさえ抜かりなければ敵は崩れる。
The Battle of Beppu, one we've been waiting for. Not necessarily specifically for the battle at Beppu here, but at least Air, since I'm so used to Warhammer and getting fairly large battles fairly frequently in campaign. I was really looking forward to this type of scenario where we get to pit our matchlocks up against the enemy. Now, this army is not completely ideal. It lacks the samurai that I like to have to back up my line of Terkos and OTOMO matchlock Ashigaru. But we nevertheless have a massive gun line. I do mean massive. So there are a lot of units here. I think we have 3 Portuguese Terkos and 3 OTOMO matchlock Ashigaru. And we will be facing off against the Takeda. I hope you all enjoyed the general speech too. A little touch that... Can you imagine had they done general speeches in Total War Warhammer? Granted, it would have been a little more complex because the characters are very different from faction to faction, but freaking crap, that would be awesome. Like, imagine all those personalities giving battle speeches and stuff. And one of the cool things about Total War Shogun 2 was that they actually kind of had something to do with the battle at hand, too. Like, they'll mention numbers, or they'll mention the enemy faction, or, you know, all this other stuff, which is really cool. Really cool, by the way. Another thing that this game pioneered, apparently the other thing that got pioneered in Shogun 2 was crashes. Okay, not really. We've all had crashes in multiple Total War games before, but yeah, the game crashed, so here I am. But anyway, the general speeches are cool. And speaking of cool, we're about to get that ever-so-sweet matchlock engagement we've been looking for. Now, the Takeda are harassing my flanks quite effectively at the moment with cavalry. They've moved around, so good to see the AI doing that. This was something that CA had begun working on years ago that actually still persist in current Total Wars, though I would say that the AI has gotten considerably better at it. These Yari Samurai end up taking a huge beating. You can see that over 20, or probably about 30% of their numbers absolutely cut down there. I'm going to pull my matchlock line back and use my Yari wall to protect them. We are up against a pretty substantial force, and the AI, which started by flanking, which was very good, ends up just chasing my matchlocks for the most part, which is great, and I used that against them to what I say would be some pretty great success here, because now I've got a lot of their katana cavalry absolutely stuck up against my my Yari walls, and my Yari walls are definitely having a day of it, though there was one Takeda Yari cavalry that managed to get behind my lines, but you can see I'm going to set up, I wish they had the cinematic smoothing on this game as well. I'm going to set up a kill box for them. They broke through, but I'm going to split up all my matchlocks and be able to shoot them because they won't be able to tie down all the units at once. You can see the enemy general looking for a breakthrough, and the Takeda Samurai are more than a match for my Yari Ashigaru, but the damage that was done in the initial volleys of this battle, and then the follow-up from my own my Ashigaru Bowman, has been very effective, and then combine that with the fact that Yari Wall will punch way above its weight class. It won't win fights, as you can see here. The Samurai are going to break through it, but again, the way it punches above its weight class, look at how many Samurai died punching through that Yari Wall. It was a significant amount, 82 kills on this Yari Ashigaru that's routing. And then this allows, again, my kill box, which is now set up a little further back, to just really start unleashing. And we've gotten a substantial number of kills on the Turcos, up to 70 here, and it just starts to take its toll late into a battle. And then on top of that, the enemy general suicided into a Yari wall over here in an attempt to try and break my flank, and so now the Takeda have lost their general on top of all this. Where the Katana Samurai get a hold of any of my matchlocks, it will be a rather short fight. The Portuguese Tercos can hold their own a little better, and you can see that here, one of them kind of holding out, but I mean, they are outmatched by Katana Samurai, to be certain. Both in numbers and in like melee quality. It's just that they'll hold the line a little longer. And this one may hold it, period, just because there is now support fire coming in from the Otomo Matchlock Ashigaru. And that really just leaves a couple of pockets of Takeda resistance here. And both of those pockets will soon be under Matchlock fire. And it's definitely going to take its toll on their leadership. Look over here, the Turco was able to hold the flank. So, yeah. But lots of damage done by my Bow Ashigaru here as well. So, definitely a good call out to them because they also did a tremendous amount of missile damage. In Shogun 2, missile damage was real. It was real. Very much different sometimes than what we'll see in other Total War games where it takes quite a while to ratchet up some missile damage like Rome 2, for instance. Well, we managed to do it despite my mistake. I don't know if you all caught it right before the battle. I know I did as soon as I got into the battle, realizing that I thought I was unchecking the enable drop-in battle, and I was actually unchecking the control large armies, which prevented me from having my extra Ashigaru and Matchlocks from the garrison, which was actually rather painful, as you saw with the enemy getting all over my flank. But we did manage to prove something here, which is that horses are no match for guns. When you bring a horse to a gunfight, you lose. Look at this Portuguese Turco here. 180 kills. Bow Ashigaru actually quite deadly here as well. And as you can see, I only probably got like... I know I got some attacks in later with some of my Turcos, but the initial volley was just absolutely savage. And it really took the wind out of the Takeda. And that's... You may only get 1 or 2 good volleys in some of these Shogun 2 land battles, but that's the whole point of the armies that we're fielding here, which is just overwhelming force. And you can see that we've accomplished that. We did lose one Turcos here, so I'm going to go ahead and start recruiting another in its stead. So we'll make sure. I like to have 4 of them. That provides a nice wide front line because it is best to spread them out as thin as you can. There is a rank fire ability, but unless you all know something different about how it functions, I find that it frequently makes things worse because your characters are all trying to line up and shoot at the exact same time, and it takes forever. And I feel like even though your initial volley may be better from that position, like if you have them just set and you're braced for a charge, your initial volleys might be better, like you'll get more fire, but then as it comes to reload time, I feel like it takes longer. So that one's kind of a judgment call. I didn't use it there. I think we turned out just fine. But we beat back the Takeda in quite a savage fashion, and I do intend to execute their commander before offering them a peace deal. Let's go ahead and end our turn here. I forgot whether I used my agents on this turn or not. I can't remember. Pretty good sized Oda fleet near us, but clearly they're worried. Look at the Takeda army taking off running, looking for things to go raid. Very typical AI decision there. We have mounting unrest. I probably will need some commanders, so I will go ahead and enlist commander. Not a bad thing to have these days. All right, let's see. This is my Metsuke. Let's go see where my most profitable provinces are. Hizen has a Metsuke. Tsukushi has it. Igo has it. Buzen has one. And Bungo does not. So I think that is where I'm going to send my Metsuke friend here to oversee that settlement. Our replenishment will be quite rapid. Since the Takeda are just running off to go do raids, I'm going to go ahead and offer them a peace deal because I don't feel like having to repair a whole bunch of raided buildings. The Takeda were probably happy to take peace. In fact, I could probably exact some payment out of them, but I don't need any such thing at the moment. So let's just go ahead and offer them. They lost the battle. We were able to get a chance to settle that dispute, and they chose wrongly. That was great. That was absolutely fantastic, by the way. I enjoyed that thoroughly. I'm going to go back and protect my trade ships here. And I'm going to go get this Oda fleet off of our port so we can fully reopen our trade. And this should be interesting. It's actually not the fleet that I would prefer to fight that battle with. I don't know if we can reach them with this fleet, though. I think we'll be just out of range. Maybe in reinforcement range now, though, if I attack. And this should keep my army at low risk, because with 3 Nanban ships, it is highly unlikely that the even the heavy bune type stuff here. They do have a lot of bokabayas, and bokabayas are actually the one legitimate threat to a Namban trade ship, because they will set it on fire and keep you constantly repairing it to keep it from burning down, and it actually becomes kind of a problem. Though you'll kind of get to see over time. Anyway, let's do a night attack. That leaves actually that makes things worse for me. Let's just keep it in the daytime. I just like the aesthetic at night, but we'll do a daring. Now, why does it make these ships my general all the time? Like, I have a Namban trade ship, and it makes this trashed ship into my admiral. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. All right, let's fight on the battlefield here. Oh, the beautiful naval battles. I actually really didn't love the naval battles in standard Shogun 2, except for back in the day whenever your cannons could actually sink enemy ships. I know I've mentioned that a lot, and it's because C8 please. In fact, I just need to go find a mod that undoes that and use the mod, because it's ridiculous. So in any case, yeah, I have 3 Namban trade ships, of course, in this, and you can see that they've already totally shattered this already weak Bokabaya. Now, Bokabayas are a threat to both the Black Ship and to the Namban ships, and for those not familiar why, it's not because they're going to kill all your crew, it's because they'll light you on fire, and should you not put out that fire in a timely manner, it can get worse and cost you your ship, and it also forces your ship into a repair mode to try and put the fires out, which then prevent you from firing weapons. So with just one Namban trade ship, it get a little tricky sometimes actually when you're facing a whole lot of Bokabaya or other ships that can use flaming arrows. Now you can see I have all my ships set up, they are firing their broadsides, and so far so good. It has been pretty effective. However, we're going to see that given a little time, they will probably manage to light up one of my trade ships, but there it goes right there. So this ship is going to have to go into a repair mode, and then I'm going to continue using my other ships as kind of a wall here to get out and cause some damage to the enemy ships that are lighting me on fire, while I just keep my Namban ships in a position. So like you can see, this one is now positioned back here where all these ships are going to enter its arc of fire, and they're going to get wasted by the cannon. So the AI, typically the way they behave in this game is they'll get into a fight and then they'll just start sailing in circles around a larger ship like this and just sail in circles attacking it, which would probably work if we didn't have any additional support. You know, it'd be a good way to do as much damage as possible. One thing that is odd is I haven't seen the AI use their assault ships very well. Like, for instance, this heavy bune is actually a pretty capable assault ship, and were it to board the Namban ship, it could be quite dangerous for me. But it hasn't attempted to board anything, like not even a Bokabaya here, which is rather odd because I'm giving it all the opportunities. And some of you might be, Air, why don't you move your ships? My ships are just acting as a blocker and a nuisance here so that they get shot by the Namban trade ships. And I'll tell you what is brutal, they nerfed the cannons on the Namban ships, the Black Ship, but the matchlocks on these ships cause tremendous damage to enemies, actually more so than the cannons, I think. So whenever you are able to get matchlock shots coming out of your Namban trade ships, it is actually every bit, if not more damaging sometimes than what the cannons do, because it's killing crew and ergo killing morale. And so this is going to be the last little bit of resistance that is here. I do have my firebomb Kabaya out here. They have occasionally gotten some firebombs off. This is actually a really cool ship. If you all haven't seen this one before, it's difficult to get shots off, and it's a very small, weak ship. But see, like right there where they actually landed a couple of hits, when they do, it is devastating to the morale of the enemy ships that they hit. You can see them slinging them with like little slings there to sling the firebombs over to the enemy vessel. We'll see if we get another shot or not. Like I said, these ships are a little bit wonky. They don't always fire very well, but when they do land some hits, it is pretty gruesome. You can see here an obvious and a relatively straightforward victory here. The Oda had no business being in this battle. They were completely outmatched. Well, sweet victory, and supposedly we captured a whole bunch of units. Obviously, I don't really want any of these units, as I find them to be rather useless. So let's go ahead and close this. We'll have to scupper a bunch of ships again. Not my word. The game chose it. Oh, Like, I'm not making fun of that person for thinking that. It probably sounds that way, so it doesn't. Yeah, I should probably be nicer. But I'm just saying it because, like, I didn't just make the word up there. Like I said, it says it over the word. I understand. Like I said, I know what a scupper is, so I'm just having a little fun with it. Anyway, I'm gonna scupper these ships, scuttle these ships, call it whichever you like. I'm not going to keep this heavy Bune. I am going to hold on to some of these other ships, though, because as you can see there in these battles, just as I had told you to expect, you're going to have issues with Bokabaya. We captured a couple extra Bokabaya here, which is fine. Bokabaya are okay. This medium Bune is totally useless. But yeah, the European ships are absolutely fantastic, but because CA made the completely nonsensical move of having them be unable to sink ships with a cannon, which is the sole purpose of a cannon, is to be able to sink enemy vessels. Yeah, again, can't say I understand it, but that was CA's decision there, to make a ship with cannons not be able to sink another ship with cannons. Like I said, makes a lot of sense when you don't think about it. But in any case, it is what it is. Can we bring a ninja in and light of sight, help detect enemy armies, prevent agents? Nah, it's not going to help any. So the ninja will not help in this particular situation. Now I don't feel bad about having sent my missionary up here. I'm not going to incite a revolt per se up here, but I'm going to start converting to Christianity. And then here, I do think we should probably just attack and auto-resolve, because this is an easy take here at Bitchu. That name. Alright, peacefully occupied. My general is going to increase in rank. This is fantastic. Let's prepare castle. They have a rice exchange and a foot archery range, which do we want the foot archery range? Terrace farming. There's no important building here per se. So I am going to tear down some of this and just put in more like a sake den and stuff. I don't know what to do with the encampment, but I'll keep it at the moment because it's helping to replenish my troops at a more rapid pace, so it doesn't hurt to keep that there, so we'll be battle ready as quickly as possible. This army is replenishing, and we'll have to keep an eye out for further invasions. Obviously, I'll probably keep this army ready to defend Kyushu, and I think that I kind of want this army to go help in the fight against the Oda. I could come and drop it off up here on Honshu. Honestly, that might make the most sense, because otherwise it's going to have a long walk. Well, it kind of needs to come up here at Nagato and begin kind of heading up the north, like, well, the way the map is oriented here, heading up the north side of Honshu. I think it's the actual west side, but in any case, yeah, I think that's how we'll do it. I do need to take care of my agent spam, and then I'm going to end a turn, and I will catch you all then. Well, actually, I'll let you watch the agent spam just this once. I won't show this every time per se because I know it probably gets old. Yeah, this is just me spamming my ninjas. And see, like right there, we increase in rank. I've now got a level 5 ninja here, who's going to be extraordinarily good at assassinating other ninjas. We can get up 1 level higher. It's quite nice. Don't need spying networks. Sabotaging armies may not be a bad skill to have, so I'm going to drop a point there. See, he's going to be very, very good at assassinating, and you know, pretty decent at everything else. Let's get in here, and all of this from just, you know, if you have the cash for it, just spamming these agent actions, it makes a huge difference in what you're able to field ninja-wise. And now that we are at war with the Oda, let's come back here and do some scouting, and I'm going to sabotage the castle gates here, so that whenever we do decide to invade, hopefully we can get in a little easier. Bingo is already under control. Aki is already converted to Christianity. Bingo, I don't know. We can improve the gambling hall. We got here a pirate lair. Increase our tariffs. Let's do that. Let's do the warehouses upgrade. Increase our tariffs on trade, because we have a considerable amount of trade going on. This settlement kind of still needs my agent here to continue his ministering, which I could incite a revolt up here just to keep the Oda busy on the north side. Might as well. And that'll keep the Oda in check, at least for the moment, and my missionary increased in rank, so fantastic. The completely overpowered Portuguese Christian missionary here. Deal when converting provinces makes the most sense. And characters is probably not a bad skill to hold up our sleeve as well, because it'll help us get rid of certain characters. Now, that should be it for all the missionary movement, because this guy is ministering to the settlement, which is not going well, by the way. Not going particularly well. Aki is still pretty incensed. We could just go ahead and cut the taxes here, just so we don't end up with a revolt. It's, I may be too late for this, but hopefully not. They're still at -1, which is really irritating. Even with the garrison there. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm recruiting another unit. I'll leave the taxes. Did I exempt them? Yeah, I did. I'll leave them exempt from tax for the moment. And I'm gonna have an army nearby soon in case it, you know, does revolt and gets taken over. We'll be fine. Oh, I didn't mean to do this. I'm gonna cancel the exchange of units here. Though we do have these Otomo matchlock Ashigaru, which just have larger numbers, so I may drop these guys in the garrison and exchange these units in. This is a full army for the moment. I don't need all these Oashi. Exchange a couple of those because I want some Terkos. We're going to have to start building this army up properly as well, but I know I have a couple of Terkos being recruited. There comes one of them now. But for now, I don't mind having a huge line of matchlocks because it will absolutely and utterly decimate any enemy force approaching it. As you kind of saw in that battle with the Takeda, they did a ton of damage to me on the flanks and even in the front. But you can see in the end, they suffered such a devastating volley of matchlock fire that their army was not able to overcome what they ended up facing there. So even though it gets difficult to use matchlocks sometimes as the battle wears on, still be quite good because of the initial damage that you cause. Okay, Aki is not rebelling, so this is good. We don't have to face rebellion there, though we will want to keep an eye on the taxes there soon enough. Let's try again to sabotage the castle gates here. See what our ninja accomplishes, if anything. Excellent. Gates sabotaged. My army is replenished and ready to fight. I want the stand and fight ability. We have to have a tier 4 general, which we do not have yet. And in order to get access to it, really only need this tree right here. Like, it's not a connected one. Rate at which Bushido arts are mastered, wedge formation for cavalry, command when attacking and defending at sea, which is totally useless, command during ambushes, morale for his bodyguard. Honestly, I'm just going to ignore his skill points for now because I want to save them for some things down here that to me are much more interesting than what we can spend them on at the moment. So yeah, if you all see that, I am intentionally ignoring those skill points at the moment. And you can see they actually do have an Onabushi heroine here, as well as some samurai retainers just due to the size of the castle, but this is not really a substantial fight in any way, so I'm going to go ahead and take the castle off their hands and occupy it. And Bichu is very upset, as well they probably should be. I mean, a name like that, you know they're going to be constantly upset. Let's get back here to Bingo and exempt them from taxes just to keep the temporary revolt happening. I do need this missionary. I feel like I'm short of missionaries. How many missionaries do I have? One an Aki, which makes sense. He needs to stay there. This missionary is already helping up on the front. That one caused the revolt, so hang on, that's 3. Can I not have any more missionaries? I feel like I need to build more churches if I can't have any more missionaries. Yeah, we have the current maximum. Okay, well, we need to build churches. We need more of our overpowered missionaries to help spread the good word that heir is back in Shogun 2. Let's build up this stronghold here, actually. And we'll be able to get some missionaries a little bit closer to the front. This province is pretty much wrecked, so what we'll do is we'll bring this missionary around here to do some proselytizing. And let's see, this navy has managed to repair. There is yet another sizable Oda fleet over here, though. A fair portion of it does appear to be trade ships, maybe? Yeah, they ran off, so clearly not a very powerful fleet. So they have a couple of Sengoku Bune, a couple of trade ships, several, actually 4 trade ships. A couple of them are off-screen down there. Some Bo Kabaya. I am going to auto-resolve this. Really? Really? Okay, no more auto-resolving naval battles, apparently. Can't even, like... Alright. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Breathe out. Losing a Nanban ship in that fight, like... The auto-resolve really needs to lay off the warpstone. Like, the amount of warpstone that CA has the auto-resolve on is a little bit obscene at this point. A little bit obscene. If by a little bit I mean an amazing amount obscene. So, I think we've all had our experiences with the auto-resolve, but Shogun 2 has a special place in a really poor auto-resolve. Let's take our ninja forward over here. Alright. Think that we've gotten the agent spam handled. Our agent arrived over here. Where was our Metsuke? Okay, yeah, he's still in the process of marching over to oversee the settlement. Go merge up with our other OTOMO, sorry, our other Portuguese Terco. We should have been recruiting another, right? Did I lose a Terco somewhere along the way? And not re-recruited? Apparently so. Anyway, let's start properly filling this army out. I have another commander here, and again, instead of wasting these Ashigaru troops, let's just take some of the lower tier ones, because we don't need all of them, and let's send them over here, and let's begin the recruitment process for some better troops. We want these improved Katana Samurai. Pretty expensive to recruit, but we'll go ahead and start recruiting them over. This will hurt our income, but we're going to have to fight in order to win, and so that it is what it is. Do believe we are ready to end another turn here. Ho ho! Look who's here! Of course, blockading my port because they can rob me of income on every turn end where I don't keep a large fleet parked there. And here they think, holy black ship, Batman. Yeah, so the black ship is actually pretty powerful, and if we can avoid fighting it, I would like to, because I am a little scared of it. They must have captured this. I wanted the black ship, and I would love to capture it. I mean, perhaps I can, but I don't have any Sengoku Bune in this fleet. Let's see if we can get away, and maybe they'll attack this other fleet, which... Well, actually, that other fleet got savaged by the nonsense and doesn't have a Nanban trade ship at current. If I want to take on the black ship, I think I'm going to need a couple of Sengoku Bune to board it, and wear it down, and keep it busy. But the black ship, I have fought it with Nanban ships before, and it is better than the Nanban ships. It is quite a bit better, actually. All arts are mastered. Let's hire the experts. I feel like that is money that will be well spent. Yeah, so we got blockaded down here. This is the black ship here. Let us see what we can do here. I want to trade a couple of ships into this fleet. Let's get our Nanban ships over here with Sengoku Bune. And one of the Sengoku Bune is actually really trashed, so it's almost kind of pointless to keep it in this fleet. And then same with these two boats. And let's bring in some healthier ships. Put together the best fleet that I can put together at the moment. This Bokabaya, maybe I can use it as bait for the black ship. Actually, might as well just bring a couple of bait ships. Let's bring that Sengoku Bune. Did it just automatically remove the other one? Yeah, it did. Whatever. Alright. Okay, this is the fleet that needs to repair and refit. Air cost. I don't know if this will work, but we can make an attempt on the black ship. I believe it has really solid range, if I remember right. Like, I actually think it outranges my Nanban ships. Let's see what happens. Alright, folks, here it is. The battle for the black ship underway. My two Nanban ships were positioned to open their broadsides immediately, but to be frank, so was the AI. And their black ship, which, let's go get a close look at it. It is very similar to my Nanban trade ships, but it does have considerably more cannons. So it will have more firepower, though the crew complement is similar. So you can see there all the cannons firing away. But of course I am doubled up on it with my Nanban ships, and will be able to give it some pretty solid damage here as well. Though I haven't actually taken out any guns yet, whereas one of my ships has actually already lost a gun. The AI is going to rush forward their fire ship fleets, and they do have these Sengoku Bune. And if I thought the AI capable at using these for boarding, I would be a little bit concerned. Because I would assume that they're going to board and honestly defeat. I mean, look at this Nanban ship. It's already wavering from the damage from the black ship. And it's in the presence of these very quick Sengoku Bune, 3 of which here, very much ready to get up here and start boarding actions. But AI, for whatever reason, is just very not keen on boarding actions. I can't figure that out. And as they sit within range of my matchlocks, they will pay a heavy price. Meanwhile, I am able to take my entire fleet and focus on the black ship. And I have my own Sengoku Bune speeding into position, and I will not be so kind as the AI. I do intend to board the black ship, and I intend to take it. And by boarding it successfully, I will force it to surrender, and then it will become a part of my fleet. You can see I've already got the lines attached here, and my Sengoku Bune is moving into position. We have lit it on fire, and it will drop the morale of the ship, and so we have a pretty effective situation. Ooh, check out that matchlock. So that is brutal. Like I said, you get close to these ships and they make you pay a price. That cannon point blank range, some awesome boarding action. Here comes the Nike Samurai jumping over, but the black ship immediately surrenders with only one of my crewmen even having to leap over to the other side. So the black ship is now mine. It is under my control. So this is actually really spectacular and a great opening to the battle. And speaking of the battle, one of my ships has been on fire quite a bit, but has been able to stay in the fight through repair orders that I've been giving it. And then, of course, the Sengoku Bune, who decided it was not a good idea to board me, paid a very huge price in terms of hull damage, and were driven off. You can see that there are 2 more Sengoku Bune and then a trade ship. But yeah, my Nanban ships are now going to cut a fiery swath through the remainder of the enemy. So let's get some of this sweet action as the AI sails perilously close to ships that are far outside of their own capabilities. Should be pretty entertaining. You can see some matchlock shots being levied, and the matchlock shots do a lot of hull damage as well as killing the crew and causing some pretty severe morale penalties. So you can see that this medium Bune easily forced out of the fight because of hull damage and the proximity to all the matchlocks. So yet another fire set by these annoying Bokabaya. So again, this is why a little bit dangerous to end up in fights without any support for your Nanban ships. Short of the black ship, or maybe just a whole bunch of cannon Bune, your Nanban trade ship should be fairly impervious. Like, again, unless the AI was smart enough to board you, so then Sengoku Bune would be a big problem. But the Sengoku Bune are actually not that big of a problem, just because of the way the AI handles its business. So I'm repairing the one Nanban trade ship, and then the other nearby enemy vessels. You can check this one out. So many of the enemy ships have already surrendered, We only have a single bow kabaya out here, and then the Sengoku Bune, who are oddly sailing to the edge of the map for no apparent reason. I am going to fast forward, get you all a look at this bow kabaya. I want to say that I get some fire bombs on it. Yeah, I think so. I want you all to see that, because the fire bombs are absolutely awesome when they land from the firebomb kabaya. It's kind of hard, kind of tricky to get them to do it, but here they come. When it happens, it's absolutely lovely, and it's absolutely devastating. You can see it wiped out almost the entire crew, or the entire crew there, as they surrendered. The firebomb's absolutely devastating when you get a close-up shot. Meanwhile, I've gone ahead and sailed the Nanban trade ships over here and gotten in the face of the last remaining Sengoku Bune that, again, continuously decline any opportunity to board my ship, which makes no sense whatsoever. But there's that AI, which is funny because, like, I'll say stuff. Look, they ran into each other, so there's your brilliant AI as well. I'll say stuff bad about the AI, like I'll say, oh, they hill camp and it's annoying and all this stuff. Be like, oh, actually, Air, that hill camping is good because that's what the AI should do. And I'm like, listen, just there's no need to defend the AI here. It makes a lot of bad decisions. but Air, seriously, AI camping, that's good because that's the most effective way to beat the player. It also kills the fun of a Total War game when it's just a freaking camp out and you have to spend 5 to 10 minutes of time with no combat whatsoever, marching to the back of the battle. Anyway, I'm done with this. You all see where I'm going, right? Don't defend the AI when it does stupid things, okay? You can take advantage of it. You can point out that it's stupid, but don't defend it, folks. Just don't do it. I appreciate the Oda being kind enough to bring back the Portuguese black ship to the faction that honestly most deserves it, because we are the closest with the Portuguese and can honor the black ship properly by giving it a home in the right faction. So definitely appreciate their helpfulness in the kind donation to the Otomo War effort. The ever so kind donation. We have a black ship, folks, and we're gonna get them all repaired. Whoa, hey, easy here, easy. Like opposite day. So we'll get a trade ship. I'll have the black ship on my hands. That's obviously going to be costing us some pretty significant upkeep. The black ship is not a cheap thing to keep tabs on. I don't need this medium Bune. I don't know, though. It has a decent boarding party, though they're kind of slow and crap. I don't really want it. If I'm going to keep another ship there, it'd probably be a Sengoku Bune and then just Bow Kabaya. They're just more useful because of the flaming arrows. We'll have to go unblockade our trade port again. We have our army here to start taking over new territory, which has had plenty of time to get quite Christianized. And we have one more large fight to take care of. I'm going to move my agents. I'm going to put a couple here on this side of the island, and then we'll start moving forward with a couple more on this side, just to kind of scout ahead and see what we're up against. I do have a ninja here. We could assassinate the general. It is the Daimyo. So no, I'm not going to assassinate him. I'm going to give him the honor of dying at the hands of my Daimyo. They have multiple armies back here, ready to take us on, and they think that they're going to get a chance to siege me and bring in all these reinforcements, which, trust me, fighting these guys in a siege would be pretty hilarious, but oh no, their Daimyo dies here. He dies right now on this battlefield. He's apparently a katana cavalry spammer, which is fine. I've got some Nagi Sam and some Yari Ashigaru that can work our flanks, and not to mention Donderbus cavalry is going to be very capable, actually, when it comes to helping to mow down cavalry on our flank. So I am not worried about drop-ins this time. We do not get to bring our garrison, which is strange, but whatever. And we're going to fight this.
Monodomo, ご苦労じゃ。お家の心情に従い、愚かな真似はせず、あのバカどもの地獄行きを手助けしてやれば、今日はきっと良い日になる。敵軍の指揮は藩主自ら取っておるようじゃ。あの首を取った者には褒美を与えるぞ。 織田の軍勢、神羅万象の中で最も愚かな存在だ。もし誰かがそれを奴らに説いても、織田は耳を貸さんじゃろうがの。我が軍にかけるは鉄砲隊。勝利を望むならば、一人一人が倍の働きをせねばならぬ。天に叫んで敵を真から震え上がらせろ。誠の脅威を見せてやるのじゃ。
Yes, the Battle of Okayama, 1572, where the Daimyo of the OTOMO clan faces the Daimyo of the Oda clan. We're going to start off with a little shotgun action here. I'm going to send my Dunderbuss cavalry out to try and attract the attention of the Oda army. And the Oda army is immense. It is a big one. Some of their units are quite veteran, apparently through some hard-fought wars here, and a lot of katana cavalry. Now, katana cavalry technically gets defeated by Yari cavalry, like head-to-head, but the thing to remember about katana cavalry is that it is just better in a prolonged melee, and they can cause extreme damage to any non-spear unit. So they are not to be underestimated by any stretch of the imagination. They are matchlock killers through and through, and the same could be said of my katana samurai. Now, my Donderbus cavalry did exactly what I wanted, which was to get the attention of the Oda. I have set up a noob box, essentially, to keep the Oda from making any easy access to the box, though my matchlocks will still be a bit exposed just by necessity. You can see that they actually moved just through my range here, but my my Terkos did not actually get a shot off. Over here, I got my Thunderbuss cavalry back just in time, and my bows and matchlocks mow down a katana cavalry unit where the AI actually just can't make up its mind about a target. So they die a miserable death. And over here, my Naginata samurai and Yari cavalry are going to stop the charge. These Oda katana cavalry, and I'm trying to keep these Portuguese Terkos in position to hit the advancing enemy army. A lot of my shots get wasted on these suicidal katana cavalry, unfortunately, which is going to leave me to have to face off head-to-head against a pretty hardened force of Oda samurai troops, which is not exactly what I wanted, though. Some of my Portuguese Terkos did manage to get off a volley and do a little damage, but mostly we had to charge in our upgraded katana samurai, which are very capable units, but honestly are outnumbered and kind of overmatched here, all things considered, especially with the katana cavalry running around. I'm going to use my bow samurai to hunt down a few of them, and as my matchlocks fall back, my objective here is to clean up the cavalry as quickly as possible. You can see here my Donderbus cavalry accidentally getting caught in melee, but you see here I'm setting up a kill box. I'm going to kill this hero katana cavalry unit. This is a unit that would be very difficult to kill in melee, and you can see my Donderbus cavalry eliminated it in one volley. And that is the power of Donderbus cavalry. It takes a lot of micro to manage it. You can see our katana samurai actually being beaten here, slowly or quickly, depending on the scenario. There are multiple bow samurai, but with my Donderbus cavalry now free, the real killing can get underway. Though, even though I was kind of losing the melee fight, I still have all my Portuguese Terkos. They are shooting into the flanks of these units that are engaged. I'm now starting to move the Terkos forward, and I've also got my Donderbus cavalry moving out, and these guys cannot be understated when they get into the right situation. Now, against bows, it's obviously not ideal because the bows can shoot back, but when they get into a situation where they are up against units that have no missiles, I mean, you can see what the slaughter looks like from Donderbus cavalry. They just went half the bow samurai unit in a single volley, and it's not gonna be difficult to imagine what happens when you have nothing to counter a cavalry with this much destructive power. My Terkos are now in position. I'm gonna let them fire. I've got one here and another one here on the flank, so the enemy bow samurai will fall. The enemy infantry is starting to get blunted. They just can't cut their way through my troops, and they're losing their morale, and at this point, there's just very little the Oda can do. They are beaten. They had some significant forces here. The only way for it to be effective, though, was they definitely did a pretty good job of suppressing the initial damage that my matchlocks did. I'll give the AI credit for that. They managed to use their cavalry to that end, but then most of their cavalry after that was suicided into spears, whereas that cavalry should have taken its time to work around the flanks, and then at that point allow the superior enemy infantry to do what it does best. You could also dismount the cavalry to some pretty good effect with katana cavalry if you did need to fight the spears, but it is what it is, and the battle was a decisive victory. It was a pretty glorious battle. We did lose a Yari Ashigaru, which is unfortunate, but despite, honestly, the Oda did a pretty good job of giving our Terkos a bit of a hard time up front, but it still didn't prevent them from getting a pretty horrendous number of kills. Like, it's 136 kills for only 88 men deployed, which is a pretty solid ratio when you're looking at it compared to the rest of my troops. And then, you know, you can see the other Terkos here doing a good job. Blunderbuss Cavalry didn't get a ton of chance to act, but you can see that even with just a couple of moments, they can utterly annihilate units. Downsides, obviously, to Blunderbuss Cavalry, they annihilate your own unit when they're anywhere near to where they're firing, but they're still a very dangerous unit to keep around, and I find them to be extremely helpful, as they were here. So very much appreciated having that. I won't be able to re-recruit an Ashigaru with the same amount of armor here, which is unfortunate, to say the least. We have this monastery here that we don't want because it's spreading the wrong religion, so I am going to tear it down. We need more churches anyway. We do have an armory. This will actually be good because when we do recruit our Ashigaru, at least it'll have slightly improved armor, even though it didn't have the attack bit that we got from the other. There is more Oda army close behind. They have quite a few bows here, but considerably smaller force. What we could do, I could fall back to Bitchu and continue to replenish and like just keep this army safe, because what I'm worried about is that they'll come siege me with all these troops and I'll be stuck with low unit counts. So I may actually do that. Like, I think I may fall back with this army, and if they retake Bizen, it doesn't matter, we just took it. If they get distracted with Bizen, it's actually really good for me. So yeah, and I don't have a missionary or anything here to lose. Meanwhile, I will be able to, let's see, I don't have the funds to do anything else this turn. Yeah, I've spent all my money recruiting Katana Samurai, which honestly probably aren't like terribly needed at the moment. Maybe let's cancel a couple of these just to give me some cash on hand if needed. We'll have to clean out that port. We're repairing here, waiting on another ship to be recruited, so we'll clean out our port. See what our trade agreements look like. It looks like we've lost our trade with the Hanma. There are other factions that would probably be okay having trade with us here. The Hanma joined the war against us. No, their enemy is the Oda, so I'm not really sure why they don't want to trade with us. But regardless, nevertheless, we are set for the time being. We are set. We're doing okay. Doing okay. Let's put another chapel in here. Well, alright. That's going to be all the time I have for this episode, so it was a good one. We took new territory. We ended up in a big war with Oda. We captured the Black Ship. I think we're doing very Otomo things here. And we are soon to be picking up a whole bunch of new territory across this side of the coast as well. And hopefully we can get all these provinces under control relatively quickly and start letting them donate their taxes to our cause. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll be back with more soon. Hope y'all are enjoying the Otomo campaign.